Hello, this is Professor White. Today we will look at solving triangles that are typically SSS triangles. You know all three sides that they are not necessarily right angle triangles. So let's go look at a case where I know all three sides, and those triangles are called SSS because you know the side 1, side 2, and side 3. So SSS triangles. And we are going to use the law of cosine to solve that. Okay? Just remember that you're using law of cosine to solve that. Okay, so let's write it down. I have an A, and that I know, 9 meters. I do not know the angle. And I have a B, and that's 5 meters, and I do not know the angle. And I have a C of 7 meters, and I do not know the angle. Okay? So let's go put down the law of cosine. And I write it down. C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of big C. Let's put in the numbers. This is going to be 7 squared. That's going to equal 9 squared plus 5 squared minus 2, 9, and 5 cosine of C. So let's write this down. So it is going to be cosine of C equals then, it's going to be 7 squared minus 9 squared minus 5 squared divided by negative 2 times 9 times 5. And I need to take the inverse cosine of that to get this. So C is going to be cosine inverse of 7 squared minus 9 squared minus 5 squared over negative 2 times 9 times 5. So let's do that in our calculator. And I'll make sure that I have it in a mode that I recognize. I put it in degree mode. That's the third line. Degree mode. You can just enter it and get out of there. So I will go and write down cosine inverse of 7 squared, which is 49, minus 9 squared. But I'm doing it that way so that you get familiar with using your calculator. 5 squared, that's the top, divided by the bottom, negative 2 times 9 times 5. And then I need another parentheses. And that gave me the angle of 50.7. Now, is this the only angle? Now, let's draw it and let's look at it. So, it is 50.7. And is this the only one? If you look at it, cosine is positive here. Then the other angle is going to be 360 degree minus 50.7. That's about 309 degrees. And you cannot have a 309 degree angle in a triangle. So that is not one of your options. So the only option you have is 50.7, which happens to be the C angle. Now you can go and figure out, you need another angle. You can go to sine law But continue with the cosine law. That makes a little more sense, and you'll be in better shape. So let's go and let's write out what A is. A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine of big A. Let's put in the numbers. A was 9, B was 5, and C is 7. So you have 9 squared equals 5 squared plus 7 squared minus 2, 5, 7 cosine of A. So when you go and put that down, that you're going to have cosine of A equals 9 squared minus 5 squared minus 7 squared over negative 2 times 5 times 7. So A is going to be cosine inverse of 9 squared minus 5 squared minus 7 squared over negative 2 times 5 times 7. So let's go get our calculator. You are going to put cosine inverse of 9 squared minus 5 squared minus 7 squared, all right, divided by, that's going to be negative 2 times 5 times 7. Yes, you can do these multiplications in your head, but what happens if you have some odd number, some irrational number or something, you cannot do the mental math in your head? So I'm showing you how to put that in your calculator. All right, that gives me an A of about 95.7. Is that the only angle? Again, if you have some like that, and the other one is going to be this one, that's going to be too small. So sorry, you're doing the negatives. The other one is going to be this one, if I'm doing a negative angle, a negative cosine. So this angle, if we are doing the negative cosine, but that's going to be too big. So I just take my word for it, 95.7 makes more sense. So let's look at the third angle. The third angle, you don't have to use the cosine law again. You can just subtract that one and make sure that it makes sense. So it's 180 minus 50.7 minus 95.7, and that is 33.6 degrees. And does this triangle make sense? You have 50, 30, and then you have about 90. All right, that makes sense. So when you do an SSS, always check the reality of it, and you can use the cosine law twice and get the third angle using the sum of angles is 180 degrees.